What you guys, is this the perfect Linux mini PC? The Geekom Air series is what we're going to be taking a look at today. It's an entry-level mini PC. This is the Air 12 version with a Pentium Gold 7505, 8GB of DDR4 RAM, and also 256GB of SSD storage. This is everything you're going to get inside the box right here. So we've got a VESA mount. If you want to mount this on the back of a monitor, you can do, and it comes with its screws as well right here. So if you want to use that on the back of a monitor, you can do. You've got your kettle cable. Here's what we call these in the UK. And we also have a HDMI cable. You also have the Geekom Mini PC Air 12 manual. This will tell you how to set it up and what it can actually do and what it can't do. Inside here, all pictures and English text. We also have a thank you card, and we have the actual power adapter right here as well. Maximum output is 19 volts, 3.42 amps, and 64.98 watts, which means it's got very low power, which will make this great for a home lab. Also, we've got a barrel jack on the end here. This is to plug into your mini PC, and we have the mini PC itself. So on top, we have a plastic top here. This is to help with Wi-Fi coverage. It's a very small and sleek and compact design, as you can see, very thin. On the front, we do have our power button, our 3.5mm audio input, and also a 3.2 Gen 2 USB Type A port, and also a Type C port on here, data only supported on that, which is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 Gbps speeds. We have also a SD card slot on the side of it with some ventilation, and a Kensington lock on this side with some ventilation as well. Starting on the left hand side, we have DC in, also a mini DP port 1.4 version, and also an RJ45, which is going to be 1 gigabit Ethernet port, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, and also HDMI 2.0 port on there as well. And you have another Type C port up on the top right hand side, which can be used as a display port as well. So you can have up to 3 4K displays on this particular mini PC. So a great entry level mini PC, not really designed for gaming or anything like that, but basically used for just general use. Let's take a quick look inside here. Just going to pry this apart, and I can see the thermal pad is starting to stick there. So let me just pull this back like so. There we go. And we can see there is a piece of metal on the bottom, which will help dissipate heat, and also a thermal pad there for the SSD. So it's only a 256 gig SSD. It can take up to a 2 terabyte inside this unit right here. There is only one 8 gig stick inside here as well, which can take up to 16 gigs according to their website. So remember, you do only have one M.2 2280 SATA SSD, which takes up to 2 terabytes. You can use that SD card slot on the side for extra storage. A high-speed RAM DDR4 up to 16 gigabytes can be used on dual channel there. It only has one stick of memory in here, which is 8 gigabytes. So you might need to add more. The reason why is probably because of the RAM shortage right now, and also prices of RAM and SSDs and NVMe drives is quite expensive. So they're probably cutting back here wherever they can. But here's the full specifications. Intel Pentium Gold 7505, that's only 2 cores, 4 threads, up to 3.50 gigahertz on here. Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2. As I've said, 2 terabytes maximum of SATA SSD storage can be installed, and high-speed DDR4 up to 16 gigabytes can be installed. There's only 8 gigabytes in this version. Dual copper tubing for cooling fans, and also 1 gigabit Ethernet on here as well. Kensington lock SSD card reader, VESA mount compatible, eco-friendly Energy Star certification, and Type C ×2 on this particular device, supporting 4K display support for this particular model. So that is pretty much the specifications there. You can see, I'll just quickly show you here, is what's on this actual unit. Now, this unit was sent over for a review from Geekom. All opinions are my own. No money has changed hands, and no one is reviewing this video before it's released. Take a look at the SSD speeds, not the fastest, 555.25 reads and 451.64 writes. And the name is probably an unknown brand, some Chinese brand of storage on there, which is 256 gigabytes. So I would definitely consider upgrading that. but it's definitely okay for entry-level mini PCs, light office tasks, low power, quiet running time, great heat dissipation and compact form factor. And you can see it's the Tiger Lake U in there as well, socket 1449. And what we're going to do is do a quick benchmark here, and the scores for the single core is 1320 and the multi-core score is 1890 for Geekbench 6 on Windows 11. Let's take a look at the OpenCL score for the GPU. 5677 was the score. Now I'm not going to run Cinebench or any of those 3D Game Mark because I think it's too much for this little system. Jellyfish 400 Mbps 4K Ultra HD HEVC, and it's a 10-bit file. We can run this to see whether it plays, and you can see it's playing pretty well here for this standard entry mini PC. This means you could use this on Jellyfin or even Plex or something like that and run this as your media server if you wanted to, because it does have that Intel processor. You should be able to do some transcoding on here. Now, streaming on YouTube, I can only get 1080p here. It wouldn't let me stream at 4K. But you can see it works perfectly fine at 1080p, no problems whatsoever. And again, silky smooth playback, no drop frames, pretty nice. And that will be ideal for people that want to watch movies or even use it as some sort of Plex server or something like that. And we have seen it can play 4K files, so we know it can do it. So let's take a look at the hardware info here, and we'll take a look at CPU Z. So the power draw on this is really low and the heat dissipation is very good. It's not very loud. It doesn't get super hot. This means you could tuck it away in a corner somewhere or on the back of a TV screen or monitor and have that mounted and forget about it. Put some sort of, say, Plex on here and run this to whatever you like. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is ideal for Linux because of the actual low cores. It's only got 2 cores and 4 threads, as you can see. And it only has a very low amount of memory. It is DDR4 memory. It's not the latest and greatest DDR5, but again, it should suffice for most general computer use. But like I said, I would have never sold this with Windows on it because I think Windows 11 is a bit of a hog on system resources, and it will run much better with, say, Linux Mint or one of the other flavors of Linux out there, in my personal opinion, especially when you've only got 2 cores. Now, you could use this as home automation or some sort of home lab, but remember, it's not going to be able to handle super heavy tasks and things like that, like video editing, 4K video editing. It's going to really struggle because of them only having 2 cores on there. Now, I did a little stress test of CPU Z, and of course, we had no thermal throttling or any issues. The thermals on this were very, very good. They never went above 75. So let's take a look at the Geekom website here, £299. I certainly wouldn't pay their original asking price of £499, but it is £299. But I think I would wait for a flash deal where you can get that even cheaper, because they do flash deals on Geekom's website and other manufacturers that make mini PCs. You might be able to snag yourself a better deal for that sort of price point. That's just my personal opinion. And again, at £300, you're only getting 2 cores and 4 threads. Now, a quick look on Intel's website. It says the chip is now discontinued, was introduced into the market in 2020. But like I said, entry level at best. You can use this for, say, home office and educational tasks and things like that. It's going to be perfectly fine productivity and multitasking at basic levels. It's not going to be able to do heavy video editing and high-end gaming or anything like that. But that being said, if you do a bit of research, like I said, you might be able to find yourself another model or another brand, and there's plenty of them to choose from. This one was £73.52. Yes, it doesn't have any RAM or ROM in it, but it does have a Ryzen 5 3500U, and it beats out the N150 and N97. It does have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port as well, and some other features. So do your research and have a little look around. The build quality for this Geekom is very, very good indeed, but priced at this price point, I think there's plenty of options. This one also has 2 M.2 2280 SSD slots on them, and it can take up to 16 terabytes. You can also expand the memory up to 64 gigabytes on this model as well. All you'd have to do is find yourself some RAM and a drive, and you'll be pretty much good to go. And I'm pretty sure when the prices come down, you'll be able to snag that at a reasonable price. So it's not too bad. Again, looking at this one right here, this is £318, but does have a Ryzen 7 6800H in it, 8 cores, 16 threads. So, and you've also got 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM in it and a 512 gigabyte of NVMe drive inside here. So yeah, you can do a bit of research and have a look around. This one's £162 and it's got a Ryzen 3 4300U, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 and 512 gigabytes of SSD. So it's cheaper than the Geekom version right here. Just do your own research and have a look. And it took me hardly any time to do some research, but you'll see the results when you start looking at the processing power here. For the actual Pentium Gold version, you can see it 5,171 points, whereas the Ryzen 3 4300U has got 7,367 points. That Ryzen 7 6800H has 22,829 points, and the Ryzen 5 3500U is 6,809 points, all outperforming that Pentium Gold 7505 2-core 4-thread processor. So, like I said, who is it for? Well, do a bit of research and have a look around. There's plenty of options out there available. I think it would have been ideal for someone who wants to slap on there, say, Linux Mint or something like that, or one of the other flavors of Linux. There's plenty of them out there, rather than putting Windows 11 25H2 on there, which will slow it down. You can also use it for Proxmox as well. This is going to be great for, say, home automation, Plex, Jellyfin, homelabs, or TrueNAS, or something like that. Remember, it's only got 2 cores and 4 threads, so you're going to be limited on what you can actually do on that particular device. Anyway, with that said, my name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who have joined my YouTube members group. I do appreciate the support, and I shall catch you in the next video. Bye for now.